We live in a country where you're trapped in loans, debt, car payments, rent, grocery bills, subscriptions, working long hours, buying more and more, and all for what? Do you ever wake up and wonder what you're working for? Especially if you're young, if you are in your 20s or late teens. In America here, we're structured to grow up and go into an office job and work long hours, and consumerism is highly taught into us. Status to have the nicest things. We have Black Friday deals where people literally used to like riot and trample each other to get stuff like a slightly good deal. And it's such a it's so against the grain to not want all of this hustle culture, to not want all of this time spent working, to want freedom, to want a more peaceful way of living. And it's against the grain. I used to work a corporate job for 14 months, and then I quit that 2 years ago. And recently I started a job for about 7 weeks, and then I quit that because I finally realized that I don't value money. I don't value money and status and nice things and cars and owning a house, at least at this stage of my life. And I'm seeing a trend amongst a lot of young generation that they care so deeply about more freedom, and they don't see the value in grinding long hours in jobs, and for what reason besides just getting more things. Now, I'm going to leave America. I don't know when I'm coming back, but I've realized that I'm just sick of it. I'm tired of also ideating in my head, like, oh, I'm gonna make a big change, I'm gonna do all this, but being stuck here in this environment, being surrounded by people who want more things, who value having more things, and just the culture of working for what? Especially when you're young, you have an impressionable mind, and here in America, we're taught that we just need to work and save the money and build our assets up and buy nice things, or just save a ton of money and just have a ton of money. And I understand where some of these ideas come from. I have immigrant grandparents, and my mom is an immigrant, and they didn't have much growing up with. So it makes sense. But when we're young, especially in this day and age, having capitalism ingrained in us at such an early age, combined with the newfound technology where we are consuming not only physical material but digital material, and especially combined together at such a fast, instant gratification of a pace, because we have instant gratification of buying stuff like on Amazon. There's stuff you could buy at the same day now. That is crazy to me. You can choose to not leave your house and have such a convenient delivery to you in the same exact day. And think about how that affects, the world around you. You're Because you want something so fast, you have somebody drive to your place to give you something, and the I like that's just so wasteful. And through social media, instant gratification is even more relevant now because we can wake up and instantly scroll our feeds, and I just don't understand how people are accepting this, or we're just mindlessly accepting it. And since we're young and impressionable, now is the time to set the foundation for your life, because as you grow up, you know, it's going to just get harder and harder to break habits and ways of thinking and beliefs. And I understand people who are afraid to do big changes. Like I am doing something so against the grain in my family, and it definitely has a lot of growing pains of people expecting me to work a normal job, an office job, people not really understanding uh, what it's like to chase a dream, or the privilege to even work for a dream in a way, or the trade-offs of trying to work for a dream. And my family doesn't fully accept that, and it's hard. It's very hard at times. When I tell people I'm traveling the country and I'm trying to make videos, um, they just think I'm going on a long vacation, and they don't understand. Like, they're like, okay, when you get back, you can just start working again. And I don't want to do that. I want to make a change. I want people to wake up and take action for themselves. And we need to build a community online so people are able to have a place to go to and feel like they're not alone. And then so we can teach each other how to create our own lives and not be stuck in a system that promotes consumerism throughout its core. Now, America is a land of opportunity. That's how my immigrant grandparents came here and built a life with 7 children and $0 in their bank account. And that was the opportunity they were given at that time in their lives. But now it's like the tables have turned, and the young generation now is lacking meaning and purpose, because back then the purpose was basically survival to a point where you save all of your money and you work as many hours as you can for the especially immigrant families. But now the next generation, or maybe 2 generations later, has this opportunity of choosing, of there's so many choices, and that's something that if we don't take advantage of that opportunity, what are we doing then? Where to live is to change and to grow, and if we're doing the exact same things as our previous generation, are we changing or growing at all? And so I've booked a one-way ticket to Japan, and I'm going to go explore some Eastern culture. I'm going to go to China as well and see what they have learned to keep their peace, because their culture is very connected, peaceful, and intentional. And guess what? A lot of them do work long hours as well. And so I'm curious, how do they keep this spirit of peace and serenity and like Zen and just being chill? Because we are missing it here in the West. That is for sure. We're trapped. We're overconsumed. We're in debts. We're shackled by responsibilities like rent, mortgages, car payments, school, student debt. And that's normal here. We've just accepted that we're meant to have debt. We're meant to buy big things, fill our houses with stuff, buy storage units to fill our to put all of our stuff. You know, many houses have multiple rooms where you're able to eat in, like dining table rooms or living rooms or rooms with just tables. And most of the time, those rooms are used like 10% of the time, maybe 20% of the time if you have lots of guests. And it's like, why do we need that space if we never use it? Why do we have things that we don't need, or we don't use, or we barely use, or we use once? And in a world where the population is growing, do we really need individuals to have more things? And is that really what will help us as a whole, as a human race, to just consume more of the earth? Like, consume more material, consume more. like just into our minds? Is that really what we desire? And so I'm hoping to, my intent is to go to a country that's completely foreign to me and to see how they live and eventually come back to the West and bring it back. But for now, I'm bringing it to across the world. So if any of that interests y'all, you know, if it's your vibe, feel free to subscribe. Okay, bars, a little bit of bars. Uh, you know, this is an extreme journey I'm on. I've never done anything like this. I've legitimately like quit my job. I have my life savings, and I'm going to travel abroad. I bought a one-way ticket. I'm gonna go to China and train with some Shaolin monks later. Uh, so if any of that sounds interesting to you, please feel free to join me. I think I'm gonna reopen up like a Patreon or a buy me a coffee if you would want to support this journey. If you have extra funds, if you don't, just leaving a like, comment, and subscribing is plenty. I'm very grateful for all of y'all so far. It's been super fun. I think this is the part of the YouTube journey that I'm the most excited for. I've always ideated, I've always thought, what if, but now is the time, now is the jump. And you know what? If you find yourself wanting to do something similar, start small. Like, I've stripped down so many of my possessions and moved to a different state. And now I have stripped down even more and I'm about to move to a country. And this is my kind of philosophy is your environment shapes who you are. And if you are in an environment that is enabling you to not grow but regress, then you will never grow. So find environments where you can grow in and just move towards those directions or change your environment. But it's a lot easier to just move yourself into a new environment from my experience. But if you want to start small, take a weekend trip somewhere. Go backpacking, go camping, sleep in your car for a day, go into nature and just explore. Or, I don't know, throw your phone in a lake or something and just, live life without it. But, anyways, that's all for today. Um, Many more videos and new environments. I'm actually just in my aunt's backyard, but this will be my last day here. Tonight I'm going to fly to California, spend some time there with fam, and then I'm gonna go to South Korea from there. So we'll see. We'll see. So see y'all later. Thank you for joining. Peace.